Throughout history, one of the most contentious issues has been the balance between personal freedom and government-enforced religious practices. In early America, the search for religious freedom led to a paradox. People fled Europe to escape religious persecution, only to find themselves later enforcing similar laws upon others. A prime example of this is the development of blue laws in the American colonies, which required Sunday rest and religious observance. In the early 1600s, a group of English Puritans and Pilgrims, disillusioned with religious persecution in England, sailed across the Atlantic to the New World. They sought a society where they could freely practice their faith without interference from the state. However, upon settling in the Massachusetts Bay Colony, they found themselves creating a society with similarly rigid religious rules. Church attendance was mandatory, and not attending could result in punishment. Ironically, while fleeing religious oppression, they imposed their own stringent religious practices on the new settlers. As the American colonies grew, so did the influence of religious laws. The most prominent of these were the Blue Laws, which prohibited almost all work and leisure activities on Sundays. These laws were meant to ensure that the day was kept holy and dedicated to rest and worship. Blue laws were enforced in various forms, from banning business operations to restricting even certain forms of recreation like sports or entertainment. In this way, the government used legal power to mandate religious observance, restricting personal freedoms under the guise of promoting moral and religious conduct. While these laws were originally intended to preserve religious values, they also sparked debate. The question arose: at what point does the government cross the line from promoting religious practices to imposing them on its citizens? The idea of forcing someone to rest or attend church, especially in a pluralistic society, raised significant concerns about personal liberties and religious coercion. The founding fathers of the United States envisioned a society that embraced religious freedom, where individuals had the right to worship as they saw fit. This principle was enshrined in the First Amendment of the Constitution, which states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This clear separation of church and state was meant to protect citizens from government-imposed religious practices, allowing for religious pluralism to thrive. Fast forward to the present, and we see a resurgence in discussions surrounding religious observance in public spaces. One notable example is the push to introduce prayer back into public schools, a movement supported by certain conservative groups. This reflects a broader desire to reassert traditional religious values in government and public life. However, as with the Blue Laws of old, these efforts can bring up difficult questions about where the government's role should end in matters of personal belief and religious practice. In recent years, some lawmakers and religious groups have advocated for the reintroduction of prayer in public schools, arguing that it's essential for the moral development of children. While prayer was once a regular part of school life, its removal in the 1960s was controversial, and its potential return has sparked debates about the separation of church and state. Critics argue that this could lead to the infringement of religious freedom for non-Christian students, highlighting the tension between government-imposed religious observance and individual rights. The history of Blue Laws and the current debate over prayer in schools reflect an ongoing struggle to balance religious observance with personal freedom. The concern is not whether individuals should be allowed to practice their faith, but whether government should have the authority to mandate religious practices or force a particular religious observance on its citizens. Such policies can often alienate those who do not share the same faith, leading to feelings of exclusion and even persecution. One of the fundamental values that the United States was built on is the protection of individual freedoms. This includes the right to choose one's religion, or even to not follow any religion at all. While the government can encourage religious observance and foster an environment where faith is respected, it is critical to prevent policies that infringe upon personal choice. Religious freedom means that individuals have the right to choose their faith without coercion or punishment for their beliefs. The history of Blue Laws, religious persecution, and the ongoing debates about prayer in schools all point to a need for careful consideration of how religion and government should interact. While religion can play a vital role in society, the imposition of religious practices by the government is a delicate issue. The key is to respect individual freedoms while maintaining the separation of church and state, ensuring that all individuals have the right to worship or not worship as they see fit. If you found this discussion insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content exploring the delicate balance between personal freedom and government influence. What do you think? Should the government have a role in promoting religious observance? Let us know in the comments below.